Combat sport involving grappling-type techniques has come back to Richland as a class. The wrestling program was first introduced in 1972 and stayed strong for about 12 years. Coach Bill Neal, a mentor of athletics, brought back the program, anticipating to have students gain an interest of the sport.
We tried to get it sanctioned by the administration by going through the student life office, and we passed the criteria for the club status, and the administration turned it down. They wouldn't sign on it. Then we were asked to try and pursue it as a team, and then we were given there's not enough money and there's not enough student interest. So we're caught in that right now. We're trying to generate more student interest.
According to Coach Neal, there have been many students that attended this year but left due to the school's lack of funds to compete on the collegiate level. There are currently several organizations that oversee collegiate wrestling competition, such as the NCWA and the NCAA Division I.
So these kids can compete on weekends now by going out of state, but there's nothing close because we can't join that NCAA because we're not a sanctioned club by the administration.
The NCAA Division I wrestling is considered the most esteemed level of competition. A school chooses which athletic organization to join, although it may compete against teams from other levels and organizations during regular season competition. 1988 Olympics wrestler for Israel, Evan Bernstein, came to share his experience and pointers into perfecting skills on the mat.
I came here and I had a really bad knee injury, or they call it a terrible triad. I ripped 3 of my ligaments in my knee pretty bad, and it took me a long time to recover. In order to get better, Coach Neal actually helped me by I said, Coach, what do I need to do to get better? He said, well, you know what I can do? I know somebody at the Olympic Training Center. I can probably get you to go to the Olympic Training Center and wrestle with the national team, but you'll have to work. One of those days I was mopping mats, I got done early, I laid down on the crash pad waiting for practice to start, and I remember looking up at the ceiling, and I said to myself, I am making a commitment to myself today, right now, that I'm going to the Olympics. And that means I'm going to do everything I can to achieve that.
18-year-old Greg Wesa was diagnosed with a traumatic brain injury, but that didn't stop him to join the program.
I had a friend that he used to wrestle, so I wanted to get some conditioning for track season because I also ran track. And I said, how about wrestling? And I started my 9th grade year. I just continued since. I never thought my disability would become a problem because I think I'm like everybody else. I don't really worry about my disability. I'll keep wrestling as long as they allow me to keep wrestling. I don't really think, I think if I go professional, I'd be amazed. If I don't think I go professional, then I'd be just fine because I'm having fun here. It doesn't really matter if I go professional or not. If I do, fun. If I don't, it should be okay. I mean, physically, it gives you that nice, good body. Everybody can see. Mentally, it's like, wrestling is tough. It's one of the toughest sports I ever did. I also played football, ran track, and did other stuff. But wrestling is one of the toughest sports I did because you're by yourself, not on a team. It's individual. It's kind of like it's you against the world.
Kayla Gomez, Yaritza Ortega, and Tala Ebusad are this year's females that have joined the program.
Formerly, there was no wrestling for girls. And what happened, the UIL was at a point where because of Title IX, some sports, men's sports were going to be dropped. Wrestling was one of them.
I started wrestling when I was about like 13 maybe, but then I got out of it, and I was consistent with wrestling starting sophomore year of high school. And I got in because, one, I missed it, and two, I kind of had forgotten how it was, and my friends would always complain about how practices were really hard. So I was like, I want that.
I've wrestled before, so my first time wrestling was about a month ago when school started, And what got my interest in it, I started watching a lot of mixed martial arts videos, and I want to get into that also, but to kind of get a base of it, I wanted to start wrestling and learn about the sport. And I love physical sports, so why not try it out and see how I like it.
I think wrestling has been the only one that's tested my actual physical and my boundaries, finding where my limit and beyond my limits. And I mean, something that brings you out as an athlete and that makes you find yourself.
Well, kind of to add to that, it brings you out of your comfort zone. It's not something that anyone can do it, you know? Especially when they say, oh, well, you're a female, you know, wouldn't it be different because you're not strong and everything like that. But I just feel like if anything a guy can do, a girl can do it as well. So it just takes, you have to be physically and mentally strong to be able to adapt to the sport.
And instead of them looking at the guys wrestling, they'll always come in, and people would always come in and look at the girls because they would be like, oh, that's really cool. There's only 2 girls or 3 girls here. Let's go watch them. And I think it's cool, and people think it's cool. So
I think I would try to bring more awareness to the girls out there and try to kind of let them know what it's about and kind of ease them into the sport so they can get a taste of it to see if they like it. I mean, I love that we're the 2 females here, well, plus another one, but if we could just get more awareness of it and get girls to try it out and to see if they like it, I think it would be pretty good.
Size, gender, or ability doesn't matter on the mat. It's what you put forth that makes all the difference. As Coach Neal says, once a wrestler, always a wrestler. This is Melanie Brandow, Richland Chronicle.